it's SyntaxSquid, and today we're going to learn about basic data types in Python. Before we start, you're going to need to open up your code editor and the file Python Beginner Course. Now that you've done that, we're going to create a file called datatypes.py. Now before we start writing anything, I'm going to tell you what a data type is. A data type is a value that you can use to perform operations or statements. For example, in math, have you ever done a math equation with multiplication, addition, or subtraction? Well, let's look at this equation here, 1 plus 1. Now, we're not going to talk about operators today, which will be in the next lecture, but let's talk about these two values here, the 1. These values are called an integer, and an integer is a value that has no quotes around it, but it's just a plain whole number. Now, if I were to add, let's say, a decimal point to it, and then put 1.5, that would be a float or a floating point number. A floating point number is any number that has a decimal point. Next, let's talk about strings. So remember in the first lecture where we were writing a program in CodePad and we used print and we did print hello world? You see the part that says hello world? Notice how it's wrapped in quotes. That is called a string. So let's delete that and write a comment that says string. A string not only can be written in double quotes, but it can also be written in single quotes, like this. And the final data type, and one of the most unique, is called a Boolean. A Boolean is a true or false value. So this is true, which is a Boolean, and this is false. Booleans are used a lot in conditionals, especially when you're doing testing. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to write down some values, and at the time being, I'm going to cut the video so then when I get back to you guys can label them. All right, I'm cutting the video now. Welcome back, guys. And as you can see, I have 6 values here, and I'm going to have you test them all. I'm going to give you a few seconds, or you can pause the video. Now that you have labeled these values, I am going to show you how to label these. So what we're going to do is we're going to write a comment using the hashtag symbol. This is a floating point number. Now, one thing about programming is it's very easy to make a mistake. And one thing we have to keep note of is how to debug these. And let's say we think this is an integer. How do we check ourselves? Because that could cause a fatal error in some programs. So what we do to check if this is actually a float is using the type function. And this takes in a value. It can be any one of these 4 values. So let's put type 2.5 and then wrap it in a print statement so we can see what happens. And it'll say it's a float. So we were right. So now I want you to pause the video and use that type function to check all of your answers. And when you're done, I'm going to label them all so you can see me do it. Okay, now that you're done doing that, this is a string because it's wrapped in double quotes. This truth is a Boolean. Now this 1 is an integer. It's a regular whole number. This is also an integer. It's a whole number. Now this is definitely a more challenging one. So those of you who didn't use the type function, let's check it with this type function. So we're going to use type of false in quotations. You're going to delete this right here and then wrap this in a print statement and see what we get. We got string. So this is a string. Now that you guys understand all of your data types, I have some homework for you. And what I want you guys to do is, in your folders right here, in your file explorer, click on this new folder button. And what you're going to do is you're going to create homework right here. And then what you're going to do, you're going to create a new file called datatypes homework.py. And what you guys are going to do, You guys are going to try to name as many data types as you can and check them with the type function. And then I want you to tell me in the comments some of the data types you got. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, Squid Squad.